Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a phenomenal day. Quick look here at AVAX, seeing what's going on. We're going to double check a few key factors. This is actually looking pretty good. We've seen this previous resistance channel turned likely support. So we're going to double check that and kind of just see kind of where we're at here in the overall sense of things, because that's looking like it might be a solid start, specifically because $54 is that point of control there for the price action based on volume in this most recent range. So it's a really, really good sign. We like to see that, and contributing factors, right? So we'll just double check a few other things, make sure we're good to go. We don't want to prematurely jump in, but we do also want to make sure that when we jump in, we have a better understanding of what's going to happen next. Okay, so if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. Not a financial advisor. I do love to teach people to trade. I hope you can learn something here today. If you do want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech is a site, link down below, or you can learn how to become a better trader and effectively just be a little bit more consistent. My trading university has been great. A lot of our main members have graduated here recently and doing very well for themselves. Some are doing this as a full-time job, and others that prefer not to. You got trade signals that I send out, essentially letting you know kind of what my thoughts are. We've got Filecoin 82%, that's a 6-day short. XRP 12-hour short 45%. Fetch.ai 52%, 7 days. ICP 20%. So every signal we sent out last week hit its targets. Those are all short positions. They've since been closed. And at this point, we're kind of just considering our longs worthwhile. So let's double check that and see if it is consideration. Looking quickly at $50, we can see heavy concentration of liquidation there. More recent longs in the last 7 days. Okay, so in the last 7 days, we can see $51 being kind of that point of contention. Okay? In other words, that's likely a support level. Again, just keep in mind, support levels aren't based off of liquidation. Liquidation is based off of support. So a lot of people will put their liquidation levels, stop losses, etc., right at those levels. So just keep in mind, that's a big deal for us there. We also got 65 to 66 as the next highest level of liquidation based on the more recent high. Okay? But generally speaking, majority of longs have been swept here on the way down at 55. Even though we have a large concentration down below, it doesn't mean we're necessarily going to hit that level. Okay? But just keep in mind, more areas of concentration of liquidation does imply the price action could get swept there as well. So just be mindful, $51 is the start of disaster. So hypothetically, the price breaks down and drops below this most recent low, then we could very well start seeing some problems. Okay, but again, this little area here, strong amount of support. All right, so let's quickly note a couple things here on the daily and work our way down, see what's going on, and just verify a couple of things here really quick. So simple moving average is really easy to understand. AVAX and Solana, a handful of other coins are still above the 20-day SMA. It's a big deal, letting us know we're still on the right side of the tracks. Not a lot of coins can say that, so the truth is here, we can kind of see this ascending trend running concurrent with the moving averages. Okay, so I'll remove this previous channel here. Of course, we can see that broke out already. And generally speaking, we want to kind of pay attention to this guy here because this is an ascending trend that is important to stay above, just based on candle wicks, but also being above the 20-day SMA. Okay, so again, I think that's a good thing to kind of recognize, and we'll go ahead and pull this out a little bit further and just give ourselves some perspective here. I'm going to change the colors of these guys. We don't need to get too aggressive with the bright colors. Generally speaking, it's something we want to pay attention to though. Okay, so looking at the RSIs, etc. So first of all, stochastic swinging down is pretty standard. A lot of coins pulled back last few days. That's normal. I wouldn't worry too much about that considering it's a daily time frame. The key is we have a decent amount of money flow index. In other words, MFI is still staying fairly high. 4-hour time frame looking pretty solid here where the price action is pulling back, but we're still maintaining above key level supports. And we can also see as well the MACD hasn't diverged yet. So a layman would probably say, hey, these are all bearish signs. Truth is, it's not. We're over specific key level supports. We can also see that we are in good shape here with the RSI not dropping below 50. Money flow index staying fairly high on all time frames is extremely important. When you look at this in the 4-hour, we've broken above 50 on the RSI. Correction, 50 on the money flow index. RSI is right at 50, so it does look like we're right at this point where we need to, it's not make or break per se, but it's definitely one of those situations where we need to ensure that we close above 50 on the RSI to have some confidence. So I wouldn't take a long, honestly, because of that. That's not the only contributing factor I need, but it's a very big and important one for me. Being over 50 on the RSI on the 4-hour is fairly huge to me because it really helps us understand that the price, that the conception is that people will find this to be a good value and they want to buy more. And if you have money flow index, as we see here, increasing above the RSI, generally a great sign as well. So these are all very positive here. It does look like we're ready to converge here, because if you do look at this, we're retesting this level multiple times, right? And then of course the price action is further below. So when you have this kind of bullish convergence, it's a very, very good sign. Okay, it pretty much implies that we're going to break through 50 on the RSI here shortly, but we do need to close above the 20 and the 50-day SMA. And those are all hanging out right there at about $56. So me personally, I don't have a ton of confidence in that, but convergence on the MACD soon to happen, or soon to try, of course. This is not a guarantee either, but there's more positive contributing factors here than negative. There's no other way around it. Okay, so again, we're back out of the woods, so to speak, and we're walking in the rough and having a good time. So this is a very, very good situation. The X that I put here on the chart, by the way, yesterday, was based on confirmation for the cloud. So you got to keep in mind, we're not fully out of the woods yet. In fact, we haven't even broken through this descending trend yet, where we're still establishing lower lows and lower highs. Okay, so while the 4-hour and the daily look fairly positive, the hourly hasn't given us confirmation we should take along with confidence yet. And what that confidence would be, again, is a closure above this $56 mark, likely within about 12 hours. So hypothetically, price goes sideways here. We get a candlestick closure this time tonight, roughly, or perhaps this time tomorrow morning, depending on where you're at and what you're watching. $56 or higher, I would say, roughly come midnight Pacific Standard Time, or whatever, that would be like 7 a.m. GMT, something like that. Generally speaking, that's what we're looking for, okay? Again, you don't have to wait necessarily for that, but you should, because these are all things here that are disadvantageous. Lower highs, letting us know that we're not in great shape breaking this trend line yet. Keep in mind, we are effectively establishing higher lows. That's how trend reversals happen. So we have reversed this trend to an extent, especially the fact that we've come down to hold and pivot off this most recent high with the previous channel that we discussed yesterday. Those are all good positive contributing factors. So we're like 80% of the way there. If you're going to risk it now, I would recommend you just use low leverage, low position size. Don't get too crazy with your trade because we don't have full confirmation. Generally, trading within the cloud is disadvantageous, something you don't want to do. Because once more, the price action goes sideways and down, you're going to wish you had waited longer. Obviously, inverse applies too. You're going to have a little bit of FOMO if you wait for this and the price goes up beforehand. There's a lot of different cases in point where you could argue. But whatever your risk tolerance is how you want to apply this. If you are the like to trade without confirmation type, then go ahead. We have mostly confirming factors. This is generally a good thing though. I really like what I see here so far for AVAX, but again, this is the only thing kind of holding me back from going long and strong, so to speak. But if we go sideways for another 12 hours and we stay roughly where we're at and we just peak above the cloud, we stay there for a few hours, I think that would be a good contributing factor. We'd be up over 50 on the RSI officially as well. And we'd have that general consensus that we're right where we need to be and feeling good about our trade. Okay? I prefer to feel great about my trade, not just good. Okay, so try to remember that and do yourself a favor. If you're looking at the charts right now and you're like, I'm not quite sure, don't take the trade. You should never be unsure about something, right? And if it takes you all day to find one good trade, then that's just the way it's got to be. It's much better to do that than to take 5 potentially terrible trades that could go the opposite direction. I don't know, I'd much rather take a trade that seems more likely to hit its target than one that doesn't even come close because I decided to get a good entry or what I thought at the time was a good entry. Okay, keep in mind, folks, things can turn around on you quickly. If you're curious about our results, though, check them out. Last month, solid month. 100% accuracy, that rarely happens, by the way, but 2,200% profit, that's roughly where we're at in most cases. Again, these are accumulative, of course. It's not a one-to-one ratio. It really depends on how much profit you take. But the truth is, if you take profit between your first and second target and you adjust your stop loss to break even, you're never going to walk away in the red, ever. Okay? So that's just kind of the concept that we use in our trading university, academy, and community, of course. So thanks again, everybody, for watching. Hope you learned something today. Please like, subscribe, and follow if you haven't already. Be sure to trade on the best exchange possible. Bitunix, phenomenal exchange. We love them. No KYC or VPN required, and you get some nice benefit rewards when you use my link to register. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest day. We'll see you in the next one.